Hello students. In my last class we have discussed about the shrimp culture, that is the marine prawn culture, and today we will discuss about the freshwater prawn culture. Now that is the culture of freshwater prawns. The rearing of freshwater prawn is called as freshwater prawn culture. The freshwater prawn culture in India was once a backyard activity, and now it has taken to the commercial purpose of this prawn culture with the using of advanced technology. With this all advanced technology and reaching to the commercial purpose, now the India stands second in the world of aquaculture production. Now, in India, the large scale farming of Macrobrachiun rosenbergii is cultured in a very large scale. It is a popular freshwater prawn culture, that is the Macrobrachiun rosenbergii. It is commonly called as campi. And it is having a very high demand in the domestic market and as well as the international market, and it is one of the giant river prawn. Okay, this is called as Macrobrachiun rosenbergii because the second walking leg is very large. You can see in this one, that is the second large leg is a large with the blue color and orange color what you are seeing. That is because of that name it is called as Macrobrachiun rosenbergii. Now it is widely distributed in the Indo-West Pacific regions including India, Vietnam, Philippines, New Guinea and northern Australia. In India, the Macrobrachiun rosenbergii is also known as Golda chingri and Mocha chingri. Is it clear? Now, see here, I told this is the Macrobrachiun rosenbergii. It is having a very large second legs. Okay, culture operations. In this topic, we will discuss about the seed collection. Okay, seed collection for the rearing. Then culture practices, that is the pond culture, extensive culture, intensive culture, batch culture, continuous culture, integrated culture. Is it clear? The feeding, fertilization, production, harvesting and marketing. First one, that is seed collection. What are the seeds here? The larvae, the post larvae and the juveniles. The larvae, post larvae and the juveniles are the seeds of the prawn. And these seeds are obtained by the two methods. That is, the one method is called as the collection from the wild. Okay, collection from the wild in the naturally. Then the another one is the collection from the brood females. The female which is carrying the eggs is called as the brood female. Now, collection of seed from the wild. That means the prawn seeds, the larvae, post larvae and the juveniles, okay, can be collected from the estuaries and brackish water with the help of fine meshed cloth bag. Okay, meshed cloth bags with 2 meter long and 1 meter diameter. So nothing, that is collection of seed from the wild is the collection of the larvae, post larvae and the juveniles from the estuaries and the brackish water is called as the collection of seeds from the wild. Now, the collection of seeds from the brood females. The brood females are carrying the eggs. Okay, the brood females carrying the eggs are collected from the estuaries now. Okay, in the first step we are collecting the larvae, post larvae and juveniles from the wild. Okay, estuaries and brackish water, and then we are rearing it. But from the brood, in the second step method, we are collecting the brood females who are carrying the eggs, from the estuaries and brackish water. Now these prawns may have the 10,000 to 30,000 eggs. Now see here, you can, that is, these are the females which are carrying their eggs. Is it clear? Now when they get ripen from orange to, they become orange to grey color or blackish in color. So such female are collected from the estuaries and brackish water, and then the such three females, okay, that is the broods female, 3 females are introduced into a rectangular tank now. Okay, 3 such females are introduced into a rectangular tank which is called as larval tank. This larval tank is having 1% of brackish water added with the formalin. Okay? The brood females which we have collected from the estuaries and brackish water having the eggs, is it clear? Such 3 females are introduced into the larval tank having 1% of brackish water with the formalin, that is 15 to 20 parts per million. Now, the females are kept for 30 minutes here now. Okay, the females are kept in 30 minutes, and these eggs will hatch out in 4 to 5 days. Okay, 4 to 5 days. During this time, the tank should be well aerated. The tank should be well aerated, and the pH should be maintained alkaline, that is 7 to 8.5. Now, once the eggs are hatched, the larvae are fed with the Naupliae, Archimia, Moina, fish eggs, minced fish, and chopped earthworms. Now, the 10-day-old larvae, okay, the 10-day-old larvae swims down, okay, swims up down, and after the 25 to 28 days of hatching or developing, they swim normally. They swim normally, and when they start swimming normally, now they are referred as the post larvae. Okay, so that's what the larvae at the 10 days old larvae swims down, whereas the 25 to 28 days larvae swims normally, and these normal swimming larvae are now referred as the post larvae. Now the post larvae are transferred to the another tank called as the holding tank. The post larvae are transferred to the another tank that is called as the holding tank, which is also a concrete tank, okay, which is also a concrete tank. And in this tank, the larvae are stocked with rate of 5,000 for every square meter. Okay, in the holding tank, the larvae are densed with the 5,000 for every square meter. Now, they are reared for 1 month in this tank. Okay, these post larvae are reared for 1 month in this tank, and after 1 month, they are again transported to the another tank with the help of the polythene bags, that is called as the production ponds. Okay, so here the larvae which hatches in the 4 to 5 days, okay, in the 10 days old, they swim up and down, and then after 25 to 28 days, they start swimming normally, and the normal swimming larvae are now the post larvae, which are transported or transferred to the holding tanks. In the holding tanks, they are reared for the 1 month, and after 1 month, they are again transferred or transported to the production ponds with the help of the polythene bags. Now, this is the larval rearing tank, okay, and the holding tanks. Now, extensive freshwater prawn culture, okay, extensive freshwater prawn culture, which is nothing but the pond culture also. Extensive culture means rearing in ponds, but other than ponds, there is impoundments such as reservoirs, irrigation ponds, rice fields, okay, rearing of these freshwater prawns in the ponds, and as well as impoundments like reservoirs, irrigation ponds, and rice fields, which produces less than 500 kg for every hectare of land for every year. Is it clear? The ponds used for prawn culture are called as production ponds now here. The ponds used for prawn culture are referred as the production ponds. Now, these ponds are surrounded, the production ponds are the small earthen ponds, okay, measuring of the 0.2 hectares to 1 hectare size, okay, measuring from 0.2 hectare to 1 hectare size, and the depth should be what? Less than 1 meter. The tank ranges the 0.2 hectare to 1 hectare, and the depth of this tank should not be more than 1 meter. The bunds of the pond, okay, the boundaries, the bunds of the pond may be planted with the banana and papayas, etc. Banana and papaya trees, etc. The inlets and outlets, that is the movement of water inside this tank and the movement of the water outside the tanks, should be screened, means what? Should be carefully covered with the fine meshed nylon cloth, okay, fine mesh nylon cloth. Then the tank should be, that is the pond should be added with the quicklime, okay, quicklime. that is in the rate of 1000 kg for every hectare. This quick climb helps in maintaining the alkalinity of the pond. Then the fresh water supplied to this tank is from the irrigation canals or it may be from the wells. We have discussed it, the pH should be always maintained between 7 to 8.5. Now in between this there should be installed here and there, the palm leaves are installed. They are used as a hideouts. Now the palm leaves are placed in these ponds, okay, here and there, which helps the small prawns, okay, which helps the small prawns for the hideouts. Apart from these palm leaves, the Ipomoea, aquatic Ipomoea plants are also reared to give shelter for the growing prawns. Now, see here, these are the, in the rice fields, they are grown, these are the nursery tanks, and see this one. Here and there, you have to place the palm leaves so that they becomes the hideouts for the small prawns. Now, in this extensive, the ponds are fertilized with the 200 kg per hectare of cow dung. See, the pond is to be also fertilized with the cow dung and the superphosphate, okay, cow dung and the superphosphate. In extensive freshwater prawn culture, the ponds are fertilized. Now, the cow dung should be 200 kg for every hectare and superphosphate should be 25 kg for every hectare. Now, 1 month old post larvae are stocked in this production pond. Okay, I told you in 1 month if it is there, then 1 month old are transferred to the production tanks or the ponds. Now, they are stocked at the rate of 25,000 to 30,000 post larvae for every hectare. Okay, for every hectare there should be 25,000 to 30,000 post larvae. The prawns are fed with the supplementary feeds now. In this tank, production tank, the prawns are fed with the supplementary feeds such as rice, tapioca, vegetable, animal waste, trash fish of having low value fishes, mollusk, pig dung and prawn wastes also. The feed is given at the rate of 5% to 10% of body weight once in 3 days. Okay, and the production rate is 2 tons for every hectare for every 6 months. These are the production tanks. Okay. Second one is the intensive freshwater prawn culture. Now, intensive culture is a rearing of the prawns in a small area with a large concentration of the prawns. That is, intensive culture refers to freshwater prawn farming in small earthen or concrete ponds. Okay, rearing in the small earthen or concrete pond up to 0.2 hectares. Okay, in the extensive it was starting from the 0.2 hectare to 1 hectare. Now, in the intensive it is a small sized, so it should be between the only 0.2 hectare. Now, in this intensive freshwater there should be a high water exchange. Okay, there should be what? High water exchange capacity should be there, and the continuous aeration. There should be what? Continuous aeration and stock at more than 20 for every square meter. These prawns are stocked 20 for every square meter and achieving an output of more than 5,000 kg for per hectare per year. So, in the intensive freshwater prawn culture, the area is very small. These are also earthen ponds or the concrete ponds, okay, but ranging from 0 to from 1 up to 0.2 hectare, and these tanks are provided with high water exchange and continuous aerations. Now, the construction and maintenance costs are high in intensive freshwater prawn culture. Okay, the degree of management is also very high. So, which includes the use of nutritionally complete feed. Okay, there should be artificial feeding is carried out in this. So, there is what? Nutritionally complete feed, the elimination of predators and the competitors, and strict control or all aspects of water quality is to be maintained here in the intensive freshwater prawn culture. So, this is what you can see in this image. There is a continuous aeration is done. Is it clear? Okay. The next is the batch system. In batch culture, the pond is stocked twice in a year and 2 crops are made. See here in the batch system, that is every year the 2 stocks are maintained or harvested. Is it clear? That is, the pond is stocked twice in a year. Means what? For every 6 months the prawns are harvested. Every 6 months the prawns are harvested. In this one, the pond is dried and drained. Okay, dried and drained and dried. The ponds are drained and dried for every 6 months. For the harvesting of this prawn, the water should be drained out. Okay, and then the second batch of post larvae is stocked and harvested after 6 months. Once the 6 months is finished, these prawns are harvested, okay, by draining and drying the pond. Then once if it is harvested, then again the post larvae are stocked for the next 6 months. So in 1 year, the 2 crops are harvested. That is in the batch system, in a batch wise manner. In batch culture, the prawns grow to 20 to 60 grams. In batch culture, the prawns grow 20 to 60 grams. Because of the fast growth of males, batch culture does not yield a uniform growth. The another one is the continuous system. Batch system, continuous system. In continuous culture, the pond is used continuously for culturing for a period from 1 year to 5 years. Okay, from 1 year to 5 years. The harvesting is continuously done for every 4 to 9 months. Okay, in batch system, the harvesting is done after every 6 months, and in 1 year, the 2 batches are taken out. But in the continuous system, it is cultured from 1 year to 5 years, and the continuous harvesting is carried out for every 4 to 9 months, and the post larvae are periodically introduced after every harvest. The post larvae are periodically introduced after every harvest. The pond is drained only after 5 years. Okay, here the pond is drained only after 5 years, whereas in the batch culture, we are draining and drying it after every harvesting, that is after every 6 months. But here in the continuous system, the pond is dried or drained only once in 5 years. Now after 4 to 9 months of the harvesting should begin, and during the harvesting, the large mesh, okay, seine net we call, seine net is pulled through the pond, and only the largest prawns are collected here. In this one, only the largest prawns are collected, and that is called as the selective harvesting. Okay, that is called as selective harvesting. That is leaving the not the marketable size, only the prawns are collected, and the one which has not reached to the marketable size, they are left in the tank as it is. So it can be harvested in the next one time. So in continuous culture, the larger and more uniform prawns are produced, and the production ranges from 2000 to 4000 kg per hectare per year. Polyculture. The poly means many. The farming of Macrobrachium species in combination with, okay, that is the farming or culturing of the Macrobrachium species with single or multiple species of fish. Okay, polyculture includes the farming of Macrobrachium species in combination with the single or multiple species of fishes, which includes tilapias, common carp, Chinese carps, Indian carps, ornamental fishes, etc., are all reared in one common tank, that is called as the polyculture. The inclusion of the freshwater prawns in the polyculture, okay, that is system, almost always has a synergistic benefits effects, which includes, that is what, if you include all these species together, there is a togetherness effect. Okay, that is what, the all will yield in the high level. So that's why it is having a synergistic benefits, that is the more stable dissolved oxygen level in the tank. Okay, more stable dissolved oxygen levels in the tank. There is a reduction of the predators. Coprophagy. Okay, coprophagy, that is the consumption of the feces of the fish. Okay, consumption of the feces, fecal matter of the fishes by the prawns is called as the coprophagy, which also increases the efficiency of the feeding of a prawns. Then there will be total pond productivity will be very high. Total pond productivity will be high because all the species will yield. That's why the greater total pond productivity, the potential to increase the total value of the crop. Okay, the product potential to increase the total value of the crop by the inclusion of high value species. So in this tank, if we are introducing all the multiple species of high values, then naturally the yield will be more and the total crop value will also be more. So the prawn fish polyculture system are therefore normally batch harvested. They are harvested after every 6 months. So that's what batch harvested. The addition of the prawns to a fish polyculture system does not normally reduce the quantity of the fish product. Okay, if you are adding the different types of fishes to the pond culture, it is not reducing the quantity of a fish products also. Is it clear? So that's what here the polyculture. Now these are the polyculture. See, in this image you can see that the prawns with the different types of fishes, and here you can see that is the feces of the fishes are released in the pond, which is used by the prawns as a feed and increases the feed capacity, efficiency. The another one is the integrated culture. Okay, the integrated culture. The wastewater from ponds containing prawns being reared in a monoculture or polyculture with fish can be used for the irrigation of crops. In integrated, we are using the two different types also here, that is the prawns can also be reared in a paddy fields, without depressing the rice production. Is it clear? That is, in integrated culture we are using the prawns as well as the paddies. Okay, in the paddy field we are rearing the prawns, and that is what the integrated culture. It also reduces the weeding cost of a farmer because the prawns eats the weeds, and fertilization of the field is also reduced because the waste material of the prawns fertilizes the field naturally. Is it clear? So these are the prawns in the paddy fields. Now the feeding of the tank. The freshwater prawn is an omnivore. Okay, the freshwater prawn is an omnivore which feeds on living organisms, vegetable matters, dead organic matters, debris, etc. So the artificial feed is given in the form of trash fish. I told the trash fish means what? The low value fishes. Okay, the low value fishes which can be fed for the prawns. The mollusk, then the tapioca, pig dung, broken rice, fruits, animal farm waste, prawn waste, etc. are fed to the prawns. Then the artificial feed is given once in 3 days at the rate of 5 to 10% of the body weight. By seeing the body weight of the prawns, that is, if it is 5 to 10%, then the once in a 3 days can be fed. Fertilization of the pond. The pond is fertilized with the cow dung and the superphosphate. The stocking pond should be fertilized with the cow dung and the superphosphate. There should be 200 kg for every hectare of cow dung. Then the 25 kg of superphosphate is used for every hectare. Production. The Macrobrachiun rosenbergii grows to a maximum size of 32 centimeters in length and 200 grams in weight. Then the production rate in pond culture is 4000 kg per hectare per year. The production rate in polyculture is 5 ton for every hectare for every year. Continuous culture yields 2000 to 4000 kg per hectare per year. Okay, harvesting now. Basically, there are two methods of harvesting. That is, one is the cull harvesting and another one is the drain harvesting. That harvesting time depends partly on growth rate and the size of animals you want to sell. Cull harvesting. Cull harvesting is used to harvest the market sized animals. See here, that is, in the cull harvesting we are selectively collecting, okay, selectively collecting the one which is reached to the marketable size. So collecting them and killing them for the marketing purpose, that is called as the cull harvesting. Is it clear? That is, the nets are used here, seine nets, for the cull harvesting. The another one is this is the cull harvesting. Drain harvesting. Okay, drain harvesting, that is the collecting the entire batch of the pond culture, that is the production pond. In the drain harvesting, the entire tank is drained, and during draining, that is the whatever the prawns are there, all those prawns are harvested for the marketable purpose. That is called as the drain harvesting. This is drain harvesting. Now marketing. Prawns can be sold fresh, chilled, if they were consumed in 3 to 5 days, preferably 3 days they say. Is it clear? That is, the prawn can be sold fresh, or they can be sold for the longer period of consumption also. Is it clear? That is, the prawns which are not expected to be sold within the 3 days should immediately be frozen. We call it as the frozen prawns. But the freezing of this prawn should be done immediately. It should not be iced for many days. Is it clear? It should not be iced for many days. The prawns can be sold fresh, or can be sold for the keeping it for the longer duration, but for the long time marketing, it should be frozen. It should be frozen without icing the prawns for a longer time. Immediately it should be frozen. These are the frozen prawns. Okay, these are. So thank you. That is the this is the freshwater prawn culture. We have discussed the entire culture operation, that is the different types of culture operation, as well as feeding of the prawns, as well as the feeding of the tanks or the ponds, then the harvesting and the marketing also, and storage. So I hope you understood everything, and if any doubts are there, you can comment. And if any clarification is needed, that also you can ask in the comment box, and we'll do it. We'll take the next chapter in the next class. Thank you.